I believe that so today we're going to be talking about the psychology of the weak consumer. Now, when I tell people, hey, your consumer is not supposed to be fucking perfect, people constantly think I'm saying like a fib or something. That's marketing 101. If you are talking to a perfect consumer, then you have nothing to sell. Most brands, they're simply just people having hobbies. You are not trying to sell anything. Obviously, there's some type of creativity that goes with creating a brand, but at the end goal for most people is to make money off of it, right? In order for you to make money off of a brand, something has to be missing in your consumer, so they need you. This is very hard for people to understand. I have no idea why. Everybody creates a consumer, and that consumer is already perfect. What the fuck? I don't understand it. And then when I come at them like, hey, that consumer's too perfect. That consumer has everything already. Why does your consumer have everything already? Every luxury brand, every brand ever, not even luxury, every brand ever knows that you need it. Perfect. Damn, it choked on my spit. Perfect examples. Toilet paper, tissue paper, soap. All things that you need after a while, right? Don't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter anything. You need it. Luxury goods. You may not need it as much as you need soap and paper towels, but a Rolex, a Ferrari, things like that, you want it because you don't have it in your life, and it's a goal that you can strive towards, right? You need a weak consumer. Your consumer needs to be weak. Your consumer needs you, right? Think about people who go to church. People go to church and people go to religion because something's missing. They need something. And they go to the church, they listen to the preacher, and the preacher gives them X, Y, and Z, so they feel better about themselves, right? Then their preacher kind of feeds them, or their God, their entity, whatever they're talking to, it feeds them so that weakness could go away. Or the hole gets fed. So they won't be the weak consumer anymore. They turn into that legacy consumer, right? And then if that consumer leaves, they're always going to come back because they need that thing that the pastor gave them, the entity gave them. They need it because they're weak. Everybody's a weak consumer. We all need something. We're all weak. Think of your consumers like that. Creating consumer thoughts start with making a weak consumer. The weak consumer needs a sore spot. The consumer needs a sore spot. And it can't be something obvious. It has to be something you could visibly show and bring up over and over again. Church is the best way to describe the best marketing in the world. And it may simply be because my dad's a pastor. But listen, it's the easiest way to understand any of this. When people go to church, there's something wrong, right? Most of the time it's something wrong. Everybody is not just, we love the Lord, or we love the entity that you're talking to, or whatever. Most people go, sometimes. Most people go because they need something. Most people go because it's like, hey, I'm going through X, Y, and Z. I need some help, right? The pastor gives them something tangible to hold on to that they could go throughout life with, and they could constantly use. That's what the Bible is for, and scriptures that the pastor takes out and gives to the fucking congregation. If they're giving it to the congregation, if the pastor is giving it to the congregation, that means they always could go with this idea that the pastor got from the Bible, and they just put a little twist on it. They could go throughout their life and use it. They're always going to remember that pastor. People remember the pastor telling the scripture more than the Bible that has the scripture right there written in detail. Does that make sense? People remember how the pastor told it, not how the Bible told it most of the time. So if that is the case, you as a brand owner, you have to literally give them that scripture that's already out there. The scripture, the idea is already out there. Your consumer thoughts is already out there. You just have to condense it in a way that they understand it, and it's coming from your brand vibe. Showing the weak consumer on socials is basically a form of giving them FOMO. Showing the weak consumer's thought patterns, that's what I meant to put, is a form of giving them FOMO. They wish they had that thought. They wish they showed it or understood that thought like that. The FOMO comes from actually breaking down emotionally and physically what the consumer wants. Pinterest, I always say, I've been saying do mood boards, do lifestyle boards for 2 years now, almost 3. The reason why I tell y'all that is because Pinterest is literally visual consumer thoughts. That's all it is. You can get so many ideas from a visual on Pinterest. A visual. And it could be this whole slideshow and you get thousands of views like that. I just did it with the brand that I'm creating in Origin. It's called Rarely Home. I literally put on the fucking video, I'll show you guys at the end, all I did, it's insane when I think about it. I simply put, we should bring back Princetown mules. And those are just like the Gucci mules. They were really popular like in 2016, 2017. That's all I did. That's all I put down. That's all I did, right? That video has 100,000 views from 6 photos that I got off of Pinterest. It's thought patterns. Creating content for the weak consumer is going to be based off understanding everything going wrong or right in their life. I tell y'all to be very invested in the consumer because the consumer has shit going on that sometimes they don't like to tell people, right? And sometimes they want something to distract them from it. And if you could do both at the same time, you won. If you could understand what they are thinking from all aspects, political, financial, all the above, you got them. You got them. I put you poo, got them. You got them. Literally. You can't sit here as a brand owner and fucking just be like, yeah, I'm about to just post this shit. I'm going to post it. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm going to just post it. Y'all pray to the algorithm gods that shit's going to work. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. And then the other side to it that a lot of brand owners don't like to say when it comes to socials and consumers and all that shit. The other side is that you literally have to swallow that, hey, this shit is not going to pop off as fast as I think it is. And also, this shit has to be very thought out when it comes to understanding how this consumer is thinking about my brand. How they're thinking. The algorithm wants to keep people on the fucking app. If you can't keep nobody on the app, how are you going to grow? All socials, Instagram, Substack, TikTok, every single one of them. How do you keep this person on this fucking phone, right? No one gets that side of it. There's another side to this branding shit. And the other side is, how do I keep the person on the app? Even if your views drop and you're still talking to the consumer's thoughts, you're keeping somebody on the app long enough. You're not going to keep nobody on that app standing and flicking close unless you already have a fucking audience that likes you. For somebody who don't have no audience that nobody fucking knows, you can't do it. You can't fucking do it. Now, I always tell people, when you have a following, if you want to go the ABC route, hands up, don't shoot. Go fucking do it. But for right now, people who are building their audience, that's all. I always talk to people like that. When you're building an audience, even when you're at the top, you still have to be, keep them paws up because you have to be aware that your consumer also is evolving at the same time as your brand is, right? So you have to learn how to evolve with the consumer, but keep your brand identity still. How the fuck you do that? Yeah, it gets deeper. Creating your digital weak consumer, it has to be from the consumer's online perspective, right? This is another thing. When I tell people create their consumer's thoughts, they get stupid with me. On the online, can't even talk. Your consumer's thoughts based on their online presence. That's what we're thinking about. Your consumer's thoughts based on an online presence. We are not thinking about your consumer's thoughts in the real world. Because let's think about this on a logical level. People using socials, the interwebs, right? It's basically kind of like another personality. Everybody is basically bi-fucking polar, okay? So if everybody is bipolar, that means everybody has multiple personalities. There's the personality that they have online is different than the one in the real world. So everything has to be focused on that online personality. It gets hard, right? People want to see their struggles and accomplishments on a highlight reel. How fucking crazy is that? Your consumer wants to see the struggles and their accomplishments in a highlight reel. People would love to see their struggle, but pretty. That's why that David Goggins type of "you gotta get the fuck up" winter art content always has thousands of views. They like seeing pretty struggle, because real life struggle is hard to digest. Online, pretty motivational struggle that boys love, it's easy to digest. It's easy to digest. It's better because that's their online persona. They're going to post it on their Instagram story, and 3 people are going to like it, and they're going to be like, yeah, this is how I'm feeling right now. This is what they're trying to present themselves as, right? That's why the looks maxing content is so popular as well, simply because of this. It's a struggle that a lot of people go through. A lot of people are very sad that they're not a model and they're not a 10, which is crazy because everybody in the world is not supposed to be a 10. That's the whole point of fucking pretty people, right? Again, that's hard for people to deal with. If it's hard for somebody to deal with, somebody's going to make it into a fucking highlight reel because they know people are going to consume it. I don't give a fuck if you're 12 to you're 39. If you want your highlight reel of struggles and accomplishments in the most pretty platter you could fucking have. Tumblr, back in the day when I used to be on Tumblr, the girls was like, trigger warning, the girls were cutting themselves and shit. They'd take pretty pictures of it. Highlight reel. The real problem that you go through in real life every day, they don't want to know all that shit. They want to know the pretty shit. What do I get out of this? Is it a post for people giving you pity, saying it's going to be all right? Do you get that connection with those other David Goggins looks maxers saying, like, we got this, dude? When you post that selfie on TikTok and everybody's like, oh, you look good, you're hot, you're pretty. That's what they want. They want that highlight reel that comes from people and their struggles and their accomplishments. Accomplishments have struggles and struggles have accomplishments. That sounds crazy, but it's very fucking true. When it comes to you understanding your digital weak consumer, you have to understand that you're showing both sides. So creating this ideal weak consumer, you first have to spot their weakness. They lack identity, they copy trends. They crave validation, they buy for status. They want speed, they hate patience. What are they lacking? Where's the weakness? These vulnerabilities are entry points. Hopefully we all know that. Vulnerabilities that consumers are going through every day, that is an entry point for you. It's manipulative and it's culty, and that's how you fucking get what you want. That's how you get these people to stay on your phone. Stay on their phone, right? Micro wins. Instead of one-off dopamine hits, give them small but meaningful wins. Wearing your piece gets them compliments. Joining your forum makes them feel understood. Reading your captions makes them feel smarter. Stupid little shit like that, these stack trust. These stack that. Boo, 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 boo. They start understanding that you are a curator in their brand world, in their head, right? I don't even like saying brand world or community anymore because people have fucking overused it. But if you could create micro wins and understand their weaknesses, you're at the start of it. Shallow scrolling, intentional mood boarding, impulse buying, collecting, copying trends, building their own aesthetic inside your world. Through these weaknesses, you create the better version, right? Transform their weak rituals into strong ones. So yes, we understand they're weak, right? They're a weak consumer, but we're going to use that to our advantage. It's helping the consumer. It's not distracting you from your life. It's actually good that you're scrolling. You're actually you know what I mean? You have to go back and forth with their weaknesses and figure out how your brand actually makes it strong. A strong weakness. It's a bad weakness, but you use that weakness and create it as something that could form a strong, loyal customer. That's basically all you're doing, right? graduate them into identity. If they cycle through enough rituals, they stop being weak. They're not invested. They defend the brand, evangelize the brand, and they rebuy because your brand became their identity. The brand becomes your identity when you tell them what the fuck's wrong with them. Right? The brand becomes their identity when you say what's wrong. You have to say what's wrong. You cannot come at people saying like, this is what I got. This is it. What's wrong? Right? You come at them and you say, what is wrong? People like being told what to do more than you think they do. Right? Everybody can say they're independent, all these things. But most people, the consumer, especially fashion, they want to be told what to do. They want to be geared to the right way. Right? You are literally telling a fashion consumer what to do is how every fashion brand is a legacy brand. Because they're telling you what to do. They're telling you how to wear it, where to wear it. Fashion is very disciplined. I think people don't understand the clothing brand world. It's very disciplined. It's very like, you do this because of this and you get to wear this. It's disciplined. It's supposed to be fun, but with the building a consumer aspect, it's not fun because you're being a disciplinary to their brand world. You are guiding it. The maestro. Right? Your consumer thoughts are more important than you think. If you can't break down your consumer's thoughts, I don't understand how you are going to have a brand that lasts long. And I think that's the reason why a lot of brands always have to rebrand, or their consumer is always hard to find, because they don't understand that your consumer wants you to tell them what's next, but at the same time, they already know, kind of. So it's a combination of, so when you create your consumer's thoughts, just think of their weaknesses, think of their accomplishments, and think of their struggles as well. The weakness in all of those for their online presence. The best way to describe this is the David Goggins content that people do, Winter Arc era. Winter Arc is literally idolizing and highlight reeling the struggle of trying to get better, right? That's all it is. So understanding your consumer thoughts is definitely the only thing that's going to get you pushed out on the algorithm, because that's what y'all care about so much. And it's not going to be sales-based content that's going to play at the consumer's thoughts. The Instagram content right now is still on that newspaper on the floor, engaging type of shit like that. But it's not engaging with the consumer's mind. And if you can't do that, it's very hard for you to keep that consumer on their phone, which is all the algorithm wants you to do. How do you keep somebody on their phone? I was just listening to a podcast called The Cult of the American Girl Doll. I used to have an American Girl doll, and the reason why American Girl dolls are so culty is basically because it's a mix of labeling a little girl. They label you, basically. You pick the doll, and the doll has a job. It has a whole storyline in the background. So you get a label, and also with that label, you get struggle. It's a highlight reel of struggle. Every American Girl doll, something fucking happened to them, because it's based on different eras in American history. It's highlight reeling. The doll is the pretty highlight reel of a struggle. The first Black American Girl doll, the whole point was that it was a slave. It was a slave kid, and now it's not a slave no more. Something like that. But again, it's struggle highlight reeled. I used to go to the American Girl doll store at the Grove. I'm born and raised in LA. The store has nothing to do with American history at all. The store has a cafe inside of it, right? You have to make reservations to the cafe. This branding shit is all a mind game. That's all you're playing. Understand your consumer thoughts. Watch everything open up.